Hi, my name is Valencia Robinson. Should I say more? Yeah, I was born and raised in Memphis, Tennessee, but I recently just moved up here to New York just to like pursue my music further. Right now, the only project that I have that's been released is like my debut EP. It's called Soul Searching.
How do you feel about being in New York?
I love it. It was a difficult transition at first just because the pace here is just so much faster than what I'm accustomed to. But just the fact that on any given day I can be surrounded by other creative types and artistic people, and there's so much cultural diversity here, it's just been very inspiring for me. It's helped my writing a great deal, so I love it. I've been meant to be here. Like, my roots will always be in Memphis just because that's a city that's so deeply rooted in the origins of a lot of great American music. But in order for me to grow and in order for me to expand and to be more current in terms of what's happening with the musical climate now, I had to come here. Well, I'm the oldest of 9 children, so I grew up in a big family. My father is a minister. Both of my parents, my mother and my father, they've always been real heavy into music. So I grew up with my mother playing Stevie Wonder and Aretha Franklin and, you know, Shaka Khan and Donny Hathaway. I grew up with my parents exposing me to those things at an early age. There's a lot of gospel that was played, like old school gospel, like Edwin Hawkins and the Hawkins Family Singers with Tremaine Hawkins. I grew up listening to people like the Mighty Clouds of Joy, you know, and I grew up listening and learning a lot of Negro spirituals. That's what I sung mostly in the church, a lot of those old songs that go from way back. You know, just being from the South, that was what I was accustomed to. I just grew up basically singing in the choir. My mother has a beautiful voice, even though she very rarely sings. And I was part of a legacy where my father's mother, she used to sing very heavily in the church, so she was very well known throughout the city for having such a beautiful voice. But not only just church music, in school that's where I was able to kind of be exposed to other forms of music like classical music and things of that nature, just because I was in a very good musical program when I was in school. But I got all of my formal training through church. It's one of the best schools, one of the best musical schools that anyone could ever go through. Growing up singing in church, especially just me being from the South, it taught me how to feel music, and it taught me how to be able to connect with an audience on a spiritual level, which I feel like anything that we see in the physical, any other forms of music that have manifested, they all came from a spiritual place. So I think it was important for me to get that laid down as my foundation, as opposed to going to a school and learning how to read or write music. Anybody can do that, but you have to have a special gift in order to make people feel what you're talking about.
So connecting.
Yeah, yes. How do we kick it in the M-Town? A lot of my weekends were spent, I used to do a lot of gigs, like on the weekends in Memphis, like, you know, Friday, Saturday night. Those are the times when, you know, people don't have to go to work the next day, you know, so everybody comes out to the clubs. You know, there's an area in Memphis that's very well known internationally.
Beale Street?
Beale Street. See, everybody knows about Beale Street. You been to Beale Street?
I went there.
Well, I'll say, like, before I came to New York for the past 4 or 5 years, I spent most of my weekends singing and performing in clubs on Beale Street. Isaac Hayes opened up a club, so I had a regular gig there. King's Palace, I used to do like a regular jazz gig there on the weekends. So just being down there and being in that particular type of working format, it really gave me a chance just to study people in terms of like what they do when they're winding down, and to see how music affects them, especially when it's not in a church atmosphere, but it's in more of a secular atmosphere.
More real, yeah.
Right, exactly. And we would probably be doing music anywhere from like the blues to like soul, neo soul, hip hop, jazz, you name it. I used to incorporate all those things like in my shows. So, you know, my friends would come down and kick it, and you know, we just have a good time.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
When I went down there on Bill Street, it was on a weekday. I couldn't find anywhere to go. Then I really wanted to feel like these and stuff.
Right.
But it wasn't really happening. So I said, how do people, you know, do entertaining stuff on weekends?
It's probably the most busiest on the weekends. Yeah.
Some things are seasoned down, so don't.
Although I don't have like any formal or classical training in terms of like reading and writing music, it's just something that I feel. So it's like I can hear music in my head. I can hear bass line parts. I can hear certain rhythm progressions, things of that nature. I've always been a writer, always writing poetry, always writing songs since I was probably like 10, 11 years old. So that's always come very naturally to me. But now in terms of being able to hear music with an inner ear, you know, concerning composing and arranging, that's something that I've been getting into more so.
If you love me, then you leave me.
You don't make any like particular titles. Say, okay, I'm gonna make this and make it. Some people just do it, and some people just say, just come up and hit me. So, right.
Yeah, I never intentionally write a song. I never sit down and be like, I'm gonna write a song today about such and such and such.
Right.
Usually, I hear melodies and stuff in my sleep. So sometimes I'll wake up, you know, grab my tape recorder, sing the melody, sing the bass line into the tape recorder, or I'll have like a phrase or, you know, 4 bars or whatever, write them down, work out the melody and everything like that. And that's usually how a song is born. I can't take all the credit though, because I've been able to hook up with really talented and gifted musicians that have like arrangements and compositions of their own, and a lot of times we feed off each other. I'll hear somebody play something and the words will just come, and you know, if it needs like some type of modification, or if I hear something, then I'll be like, well, try resting, you know, on this bar, or try, you know, I'll offer suggestions. But
right. So it's like almost corporate type of was the great music.
Exactly.
When I hear the EP, when I listen to the EP, I feel so much of it. Although you just put the guitar and lyrics, it's like so powerful.
Thank you so much.
I thought that's a beautiful thing.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I think the spirit in which it was created, the fact that me and Michael were in a place where we just decided that we just wanted to do something. We just wanted to write and we just wanted to record. So we didn't have to deal with an A&R person or anything like that telling us what to write or to record or how to do it. We just did it, and we did it at a time in my life where I had a lot of things that I wanted to say. So I think that's why a lot of the messages in the songs just come across so real, because it was just at a time where I was just trying to communicate something, and I didn't know how to do it just like through regular talking. So
so you just put everything on your
I put it in song form. Yeah. First of all, I want to say that I pride myself on being an independent artist. Just for the simple fact that with an EP like Soul Searching and with the music that I've really been wanting to do for a long time, it doesn't seem to be very marketable according to a lot of the major labels. A lot of the stuff that's being released through mainstream radio and through television, I think a lot of it is very mediocre, you know, honestly speaking. And I don't think that it does a good job of depicting real life. It's almost like some type of illusion or fantasy is created through the type of music that is being released, you know, mainstream for the most part. Being an independent artist, although I like it a whole lot, financially speaking, it leaves very much to be desired. So at this point, I'm definitely seeking, you know, an independent label, you know, that shares the vision that I have for the music. Basically someone that's got the money to do more marketing concerning doing tours, a lot of internet. Internet has been so good to me. I mean, in terms of like, you know, getting the CD out, and you know, and it's like every time I check my email, I'm getting emails from all over the world with people basically asking, how can I get the CD? Who are you? And things of that nature. I'm hoping in the very near future to, you know, form a partnership with a label that can
help you out.
Yeah, exactly.
Sounds great. I'm very expecting you growing up and, you know, touch people's heart.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Koko. Thank you.
Baby, if you miss me when I'm gone, don't take my leave and wrong. Just release me. Put a smile with a memory. That's where you always keep